In this lesson, we will learn to solve multi-step equations involving algebra. Let's say we have the expression four x plus 3 is equal to x minus 5. Now, we have two sides of this equation, but we also have two polynomials. And whenever we try to solve polynomials, we must make sure that we collect like terms. And when we collect like terms, we're going to make sure that we have one type of term on the left side and another type of term on the right side. Our two like terms in this case are the x's and the coefficients here, 3 and negative 5. Now before, we just used the equal sign as a fence, and as we jumped over that fence, we changed the sign. But there's also another more involved way, which takes more steps, but it involves more understanding. In this case, we want to get rid of one of these terms and essentially move it to the other side. Now, an equal sign tells us that whatever we do to one side, we must do to the other. So if I want to get rid of positive 3 here, I'm going to have to subtract it by negative 3. But if I subtract it from negative 3 on the left side, I'll have to subtract it by a negative 3 on the right side. For example, I'll have 4x plus 3, and I'm going to get rid of it, so I'm going to subtract by negative 3. That's going to be equal to x minus 5, but also, again, subtracting 3. So in this case, 3 minus 3 goes to 0, and I'm left with 4x on the left-hand side. X is going to be equal to, or on the right-hand side, it's x minus negative 8. Now to get rid of, or to move the x to the other side, I'm going to have to do something very much the same thing. Here I have x minus 8, and to get rid of x, I'm going to also again have to subtract by negative x. And over on the other side, I'm going to have to do the same. So I have negative x in this case plus 4x. X minus x gives me 0. Negative x plus 4x gives me 3x. And that's equal to now negative 8. But I'm not done. I'm still trying to find out what x by itself is equal to. And to do that, I have to get it to 1x. Whatever this coefficient is here, I'm going to have to divide by that coefficient. In this case, 3. So 3 divided by 3 will be 1. But whatever I do to the left side, I also have to do to the right. So I'll just have to divide it by 3 over here. In this case, I'll just leave it as a fraction. X is equal to negative 8 over 3. So that's one way I can solve these multi-step equations. So it involves multiple steps. I have to collect like terms, so I have to move from one side to the other by adding and subtracting those terms. And essentially just moving from one side to the other, trying to collect all the x's on the left-hand side and all the numbers or coefficients on the right-hand side. Just try one more example. Now in this example, I'll have 2y minus 3 is equal to 4y plus 5. Now if I go through it, I'm going to move the 3 over to the right and move the 4y over to the left. So first the 3. So I have 2y minus 3. The opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. That's equal to 4y plus 5. And whatever I had done to the left, I have to do to the right. I added 3 here. I'm going to have to add 3 over here. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. I'm left with 2y, and it's equal to 4y plus 8. To get rid of 4y, I'm going to subtract 4y here, but I'll have to do the same here. 2y minus 4y is negative 2y, and I'm left with 8 here because this goes to 0. Whatever this over here is, I have to get it to positive 1, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. This all cancels out to 1. So 1y is equal to 8 over negative 2, which is negative 4. And that is how we solve multi-step equations.